The Formula One 2023 season is going to have teams under pressure. Here are my top 5 teams that are under pressure in 2023. Let's kick things off with AlphaTauri. Why? They had a pathetic season last season, finishing P9 in the Constructors. The AlphaTauri, really? They should never be anywhere near it. They need to step their game up. They were worse than the Alfa Romeos, worse than the Aston Martin, worse than the Haas. I never thought we would see this coming, especially with the lineup of Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. But this time it's Yuki Tsunoda and Nick de Vries, which I think is very, very controversial. A controversial move by Nick de Vries, by the way, but also a controversial move that is made by AlphaTauri because they need to get points on the board. They need proven quality drivers in their team. Otherwise, they're going to become a team that everybody's going to be looking at with a lot of criticism. And they just got to watch their age mates. Look at the leap that Alfa Romeo have done. They got to take a leaf out of that book for next season and make sure they do not flop the base as they have been doing. The partnership of Nick de Vries and Yuki Tsunoda, I must admit, it concerns me, okay? None of those drivers are filling me with any sort of confidence at this moment in time. I'm looking forward to see what Nick de Vries does, but I was looking forward to see what Yuki Tsunoda would do in Formula One, and here we are. Number 2 on this list, ladies and gentlemen, Alpine. Why? Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, a recipe for disaster. 2 drivers that don't get along. Apparently they're going to be getting along just fine this season. Can you believe that the family of Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon cannot go to the same Grand Prix? You heard me right. So in Australia we might have Esteban Ocon's family, and then in Bahrain it will be Pierre Gasly's family. They both can't be in the same paddock at the same time. This is the kind of shenanigans that Alpine want to get themselves into. These drivers just don't get along. The other thing as well, the reliability issues of the Alpine. Now let's be very, very clear. The Alpine was a rocket launcher last season. However, it never finished the race. In fact, it was on fire on some occasions. You could cook a barbecue in there. Fernando Alonso was so hacked off that he had to leave the team because he just knew it was so unserious. That's why they are under pressure this year. If Fernando is leaving, questions have to be asked. And finally, can they really convince anybody that they can swing for top 3 in the Formula One World Championship? Look, they're comfortably ahead of the midfield pack. But can they actually have a nibble at Mercedes and Ferrari and Red Bull and maybe try and get some podium places this year? We have to wait and see. We've been waiting for them to arrive, haven't we? Renault has been a team that we've been waiting to arrive. Alpine was kind of come with the brand new branding. We thought there's going to be something great. This year, I need to see something, okay? Just being ahead of the midfield is not enough for me. It's always had backing, it's always had money, it's had great facilities, and it's had very credible drivers. So we need to see more from Alpine. Number 3 on my list, ladies and gentlemen, Aston Martin. Don't think you're going to get away with this one, because I'll tell you what, Aston Martin have been getting away with it for the last couple of years, okay? Brand new team. We're all loving the livery. We talk about the livery more than we talk about their performances, and that tells you everything you need to know about Aston Martin. But I think now is the time. We have to see something happen. Something needs to go on. Something needs to be a bit more credible about the Aston Martin, okay? Lance Stroll, I mean, look, can we get some consistency, for crying out loud? You're a good driver. You've got some talent in there. There is some talent in the locker, but I need some consistency. Now they've got Fernando Alonso, somebody who will not take any garbage. But guess what? Lawrence Stroll, the boss. This is going to be a very interesting combination. Fernando Alonso and Lawrence Stroll. We need to see more from Aston Martin in 2023. They are under pressure, my people. This is a team that needs to have some serious pride when it comes to the end of 2023, okay? They've had a lot of changes going on, a lot of things have happened. Sebastian Vettel, you know, him even retiring, I don't think people are actually taking into account or deeping how big this was for Sebastian Vettel to leave, okay? Because if there was something in there, if you could feel that there was something to hold on to, Sebastian Vettel ain't going nowhere. But guess what? He's even called retirement when he's been at the Aston Martin. Another driver that Lance Stroll has retired, if you know what I'm saying. But yes, Vettel left for a reason, Alonso's joined for a reason. Now it's time to see some progression. Can we get some consistency out of Aston Martin? Can they actually be credible in 2023? I just need to see some integrity. Because guess what? This is a fan favorite team. A lot of people are excited about Aston Martin coming into the side, and that racing green. And this needs to be more than a livery, okay? We need to be talking about Aston Martin in some, credible regard. Number 4 on my list, Mercedes. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You lot need to fix up, okay, from what you did last year. Last year was a howler. It was a stinker. You came into the game with no side pods. You came in with all this porpoising. People were breaking their backs. Your teammates were breaking their back, okay? And yes, you got a win last year. Credit to George Russell. But the boy, the king, the man himself, Sir Lewis Hamilton, didn't have a single victory last year. That's on you, Mercedes. You need to sort yourselves out. the man cannot be going out like this, okay? He needs to be challenging for the races next season. He needs to be challenging for the title, both George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. You need to go toe-to-toe with Red Bull. Make it hard for them. Make them compete for that title next year. I think Red Bull are the favourites to win the title, but I do not want to see what I saw in 2022 and Max Verstappen in the sunset, okay, every single race. I want to see Mercedes giving blows, sending punches, making the title race a lot more compact. If you give Lewis Hamilton the car, the rest will sort itself out. Number 5, people, Ferrari. Of course I'm going to bring Ferrari into this conversation. Why? How long have you got, okay? The team strategy, the politics, not having a number 1 driver. The list goes on and on and on, and sometimes the driver's mistakes as well. Now look, they've got a good driver pairing in Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, okay, but they need to be way more dominant than what they were last year. Do you know that they actually had the fastest car last year? But you would never know, because Red Bull were gone clear in the constructors, Max Verstappen was gone clear in the championship, all because yes, some reliability issues. I mean, there was a point where that car was on fire as well. Carlos Sainz, Austria, I can't forget that Grand Prix. I was making marshmallows and s'mores out of that car. However, the car is actually the fastest on the grid, and the drivers are no mean mugs either. How on earth they finished so far away from Red Bull? And remember, they had a 40-point gap after the Australian Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc to Max Verstappen, and still lost the title, and lost the title convincingly, okay? All these pole positions, in the last 18 poles, they had only won 5 races. Disgraceful behavior. We can't be having this with Ferrari, okay? They need to sort themselves out. They're under big pressure. Why? Because Mercedes could be back as well. So instead of it being a Red Bull versus Ferrari thing like it was last year, it could be Mercedes versus Red Bull, and that's a damning indictment on Ferrari. Remember, they've changed the team principal again, okay? Fred Vasseur this time from the Alfa Romeo team, which I must say, weird move if I'm honest. Mattia Binotto I don't think was the problem here at Ferrari, okay? But nonetheless, we have to wait and see what they get up to in 2023. It's going to be amazing this season. There's so many things to look forward to. There's so many teams under pressure, and I'll be keeping an eye out on each and every single one of them. Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think is under pressure? Which teams would you put into this category? Who should I be taking out? Who do you think, Peter, you are absolutely wrong? Take them out of this category. Let me know in the comment section down below. YouTube thinks you will like this video over here, or if you can check out my latest video right on this side. Until then, ladies and gents, lights out.